Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. Thank you for tuning in and staying tuned here on Smooth 98.1, a smooth breakfast show with Ayo Myra Essay.
And with Valentine.
And of course, we have the one and only Tega Onojaife. Hello, Tega. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Hi, Tega.
And
how are you?
I'm very fine, and I owes me 2
Good morning
minutes.
to your shoes as well.
Good
morning to Tega's shoes.
Anyways,
Exactly. I know.
Wow.
let me tell
You
you
did,
people
right?
what I suffered yesterday.
What did you suffer
All this
yesterday?
wickedness in high places that people call health and fitness. So that's how I went to take my sister's. So I was hungry, so I went to take my sister's oats. Quaker Oats is a brand. Oats, that oats.
Yeah.
So this girl is doing fitness. So the oats, like sawdust. That's how it tastes.
That's what I eat every morning.
Sawdust. That was not. I think
think
that was bad enough. That was not bad enough. I now said, okay, that maybe this thing is health and fitness, but there's sugar. I went to take the sugar.
What?
It was not even brown sugar. It was brown sweetener. So she has no sugar in her house. Then the milk had no cream. My sister, I put this milk. I put this milk. I didn't see anything. I said, let me not go and put the one that you'll not be seeing it, but the body will be counting it. So that's how I ate that thing yesterday.
It was so nice.
So till now, if I belch, I taste wood in my mouth because like sawdust.
No.
Why are people suffering in the name of health and fitness? Why don't you just eat smaller portions and walk?
Disclaimer, please. What Tega just described, your sister is really nice. She's added some ingredients, sweeteners. Imagine she added sweeteners, she put cream.
There's no cream. There was no cream inside that
It
milk.
does not matter.
So
The
now
fact
I'm
that
going to go and buy
there's an additive. You're supposed to take the oats like that, just water. That's
because I'm the one that killed Jesus.
it. Yes, you're
Never again. Never. As I live here now, I'm going to go and buy full cream milk. As I live here now, white sugar. I will make oats again so that I will erase the memory of that nonsense.
By the way, if you're listening to Tega and you're thinking, yes, Tega, tell me, go on YouTube and see what she looks like.
And see the energy.
That's not the issue.
See what she looks like. That's how she can get away with eating. I don't want to eat this.
No. That's not right.
Please
don't eat that kind of thing.
Please
you did not commit any sin
to
eat that kind of thing.
I've been having breakfast of oats, just oats
that
by
thing,
itself without
that
sugar
thing tastes
for
like
over
wood.
2 months.
I'm telling you.
Guys, it's a good nutritional
I don't know how
advice.
you do that.
Anyway,
Okay.
so that we'll feel better. Please let's get to
All right.
important stories.
0809-444-0981 for WhatsApp messages. 0809-444-0981.
And then we can go straight onto YouTube as well. Watch what's going on. YouTube is always a fun place. So youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos.
Let's get to the stories now. Formula One teams have been warned that they could face penalties if they visit race stewards without an invitation. This comes after Mercedes and Red Bull bosses went to see the stewards following Sunday's crash between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen.
Oh dear.
The race director, Michael Massey, has written to all teams, warning them that visiting the stewards was only permitted with prior approval or an official summons. He said afterwards, quote, "I don't think the stewards should be interfered with. I went to see the stewards because I heard Toto was up there presenting a case and you want it to be fair and balanced. I don't think it's right that team principals should be able to go and lobby the stewards. They should be locked away so that they are not influenced. For me, that was unacceptable that he had gone up there."
Excuse me, but you told him to go up there.
He did?
Yes, he actually. So here's what happened. The crash happens, and Christian Horner gets on the phone immediately and calls Massey. And Massey says the stewards are looking at it. And then Toto Wolff at this time, Toto Wolff doesn't do anything. He's just checking out his driver's car and all. And then Christian Horner goes to see the stewards. Toto Wolff was like, I'm not going to. Toto Wolff now sent an email to the stewards showing why Lewis Hamilton shouldn't be punished after Christian Horner had called him. And then he hears that Christian Horner has gone to see the stewards. So like, I'm not going to carry last. So he now printed out the email he sent and carried it to go and see the stewards too.
I sent you an email. This is one I sent you an email.
No, it was also sent email to Michael Massey.
Yes.
And he said, did you see my email I sent? Michael Massey said, I've seen the email, but the stewards will still go and take a look at it. Then he now said to him that I hear he now says to him that I hear Christian Horner is going to see the stewards. I will go and see the stewards too. And Michael Massey says, yes, you can go and see them. So
why did he now go?
So there's an entire phone conversation about how he could have seen the stewards. And so at the end of the day, him coming to say that I heard Toto was there. You said he could go and see him over before. And Toto carried his 2 left leg too. I went to go and see him. But the truth of the matter is, both of them were actually lobbying the stewards. Because Christian Horner went to cry to the principal. Toto Wolff had to defend his team. If not, Lewis could have gotten. They deducted 2 points from his driver's license. That they downgraded his driver's license by 2 points. If you there's a level you downgrade the driver's license to, he can't drive in F1. So, I mean, he could have. The consequences could have been dire depending on who cried wolf most. That's how Toto had to defend himself. So I agree with Michael Massey. Nobody should go there. Whether you feel like the victim or whether you are the perpetrator, nobody should go there. Let the stewards make up their mind, and then everybody, if they call you to give extra defense, you should, which is what the rule says. But obviously, Christian Horner wanted a stricter punishment for Lewis Hamilton because he was definitely losing points, so he went there. And Toto Wolff was not going to have that, so he went there. But let me see if 2 of you can look in my eye and take points from me. That's exactly what they both did.
But it can be likened to tampering with VAR as with football.
It's still
to meet the referee.
It's still some form of tampering. Because if you notice in VAR, the referees just go straight and look at the screen and come out, and they don't want anybody hanging around there trying to explain. See, his left leg is touching my right leg. So that's exactly what it is. Don't go there and influence. Because truth be told, there's how somebody was thinking of something. If you present a case, person might not look at your point of view. But if he's looking at it objectively without any influence from everybody, and there are 3 stewards, so it's not like it's one person's opinion. There are 3 stewards sitting down there. 3 stewards to discuss it from different points of views, and if at the end of the day there are 3 different angles come out with a judge verdict, that should be the verdict. But you coming to cry and say he hit my driver, and you coming to say my driver has an opportunity to defend, it doesn't help. That's influencing. So I agree with Michael Massey. Everybody don't go until they call you.
All right. Well, Cruz must be very interested in this next story because he couldn't wait for you to come and share your take on the Olympics as we begin tonight. Tonight is the what's it called, opening ceremony. Olympics opening ceremony director sacked for Holocaust joke. You would think the joke was made during deliberations recently, but wait till you hear this. The show director of the Olympics opening ceremony has been dismissed a day before the event was due to be held. So yesterday, right? Right. Footage of Kentaro Kobayashi from the 1990s recently emerged, in which he appears to make jokes about the Holocaust. Japan's Olympic chief Seiko Hashimoto said the video ridiculed painful facts of history. The dismissal is the latest in a string of scandals to hit the games.
Okay, so here's what. First of all, let me address this cancel culture and sacking people based on things they did 10 years ago. Already, I take Anoja as I stand before you. There were some very strong views I thought I had yesterday. I don't have them today. I've changed. And I understand if somebody is claiming to change is different from if the person has actually changed. I think somebody has learned over time that certain things shouldn't be joked about. There was a time people used to joke about disabled people and overweight people and
people stutter.
And people stutter. They don't do that anymore. So should we be punishing them for what they did? You're not giving opportunity for people to learn. For me, I think this attitude of once a video comes out, regardless of when it comes out, you just take action. If there are subsequent behavior that shows that the person hasn't changed, then go right ahead and do it. But if it was in the 90s, from that time to today, there's so many views that could have changed. So many. So on that note, I don't appreciate this cancel culture. However, the show is today. He was fired yesterday. Now you have to add this to the fact that the lead composer, one of the composers of the performance for tonight, was sacked on Monday because, again, stories emerge that he used to bully people with disabilities when he was in school.
Oh Lord.
Are you for real?
Thank you. So again, these are things that, so I mean, the Olympic Games have already been plagued by many things, and then you add these last minute sackings to the fact, and today is going to, in fact, 12 o'clock, that's when we're going to start.
I don't think it's fair.
First of all, I really don't think it's fair, especially if the views have changed. I think an apology would suffice, and another stance explaining that his growth is different. I don't think I explained the joke, but showing his growth has changed. That's it. But something I did in the 90s, I kid you not, I would never jog. 3 years ago, you can't catch me jogging. But after my health scare this year, I exercise 4 times a week, compulsorily. So before you couldn't pay me. Now I do. I even used to tell people, you have only one life, eat and live your life. Now, even I watch my portions. I'm not big, but I had a health scare earlier this year.
I mean, imagine my surprise when we are talking about oats this morning.
Do you understand? Yeah, exactly. When I was talking about eating oats, because I the only food that was left was swallow. And I couldn't eat swallow at that time of the night.
Yeah.
But normally, they may eat swallow at 10 p.m.
Who cares?
Call
Exactly.
police. Do you understand? But again, because of that health scare, I've
Yes.
completely, the things I used to say, I used to take as absolutes, I've even changed, which is why I'm one of those proponents for never say never. Because some of the things I said I would never do, it's me that's telling other people to do it now. So those views have changed, or may have changed. Let me not categorically say they've changed. May have changed, and you're not sacking the person for that. However, all of this just throws more trouble for the opening ceremony. I still think it's going to find a way to go smoothly. Even if it's just one day before. It was too close, but
I thank you. Do you know, thanks a lot for this perspective, because the popular perspective usually is, yes, be careful what you do. It might catch up with you in the future. And that was my response when I saw this news story. So you were saying bad things 10, 20 years ago, you didn't know, but now you mention it. We don't actually give people, and it's a cancel culture. So anything,
you have to give people opportunity to grow, to repent,
except
to
the
change.
person. In fact, if you were accused of this and then you now brought up a video and say that, oh, look at his
history.
Yes.
So if you were accused at the time and you denied,
yes, and
then
now
evidence comes out in future, yes. But when
or if there's a pattern,
yes,
yes,
or
like
maybe,
like with the Clippers guy, there was a history of systemic racism going from his team to his housing to. So yes, you understand that's
we're
an
not
issue.
computers.
But
there's not
people
an ultimate
change.
chip. Even computers are rejigged. They're
Yes,
enhanced over
people
time.
change. So allow opportunity for growth and for repentance.
Absolutely.
So that's what we need to be doing.
all right.
This absolute cancel culture is just.
Speaking of food, Noni here says, good morning all. I'm going left with my message. I agree both with Stega and Valentine. Eat small portions. It should not be punishment, and reduce the sugar or cut it out altogether if you're strong enough. I say this as someone from whom sugary something is my kryptonite. But Tega's torture story was hilarious. I felt the pain that was
I'm telling you,
eating those oats. Thank you, Noni.
I couldn't throw it away because we don't throw away food in my house. I was eating every. Thank you, Noni.
Wada here says, oh, sorry, so Wada says, Wada had originally banned Russia from the World Stop sporting events for 4 years in December of 2019, but the sanctions were halved late last year by the Court of Arbitration for Sports, CAS, in a clear victory for the Russian side. The WADA president, Witold Banka, was quoted as telling a news conference on Friday, CAS closed some cases from the past, and in our statements, we underlined that on the one side, it was very positive. It was a very positive decision from a legal perspective that CAS confirmed the documents and all rules and standards. But of course, we as WADA remain disappointed that CAS decreased the level of the sanctions from 4 to 2 years. I think all my opinions must rely on facts and scientific evidence.
Yes, so here it is. Some athletes from Russia, after that systemic racism scandal, systemic doping scandal, I just started with racism again. Systemic doping scandal that came out, that it was state sponsored. If you're an athlete, they will do it for you. After such a huge reveal, and the punishment should have been harsher. It turns out Court of Arbitration for Sports reduced some full sentences and then said, well, if your name wasn't categorically in the list, then you can compete. Now, WADA said, okay, let's not punish people for the sins of their country.
WADA being World Anti-Doping Agency.
World Anti-Doping Agency said, okay, let them compete under the neutral flag. But now, they are wearing the colors of the Russian flag. So even if, the Russia is banned from the Olympics, their colors will be there. So what is the punishment really? They are still going to celebrate their athletes. They still get credit at the end of the day. And so WADA is just upset that why are we putting all these checks and balances if at the end of the day some people can just come and cut it? And so you're going to see a lot of Russian athletes. The name will not be. They'll be going under ROC. But
I hope they should. I mean, this conversation does not sideline Shakiri Richardson and her case.
No, it doesn't. She's not even. From the US.
Anyway,
She
it's
doesn't.
okay.
She doesn't count. She's from the US.
I'm just saying.
But I mean, really, this Russia ban, I think because of the way the rot was deep, Russia shouldn't even be competing at all. At all. Whether neutral flag, whether at all. But individual athletes are now come out to say they didn't catch me personally. Okay, they didn't catch you personally, but now they're going to wear colors of the Russian flag. Are you serious?
All right, let's think on that as we go on the break. When we come back, we'll take more stories, more Olympic stories. Of course, it's going to dominate some of our stories here because it's Olympic season.
Yes.
And when we come back, and some other stories around the world.
So yeah, there's really no point.
Thank you.
8 times 500
there's
naira,
really no point.
4,000 naira. 8 times 5,000. I beg, where on they see this money?
Where una dey see this money?
Now the ogbonge bonus where they summer me as I buy new SIM card. See, then they give me
Money.
double data subscription
Yes,
plus 8 times I win every time I recharge.
Okay.
Also for me now, you know say you fit buy SIM card now for any accredited Airtel shop, ba? Just go there with your NIN, just like that. Sure guy.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. As a mother, it's my duty to help him live up to his dream.
What does he
Big
want?
dreams
Does he want to
require
rap?
practice
Does he
and
want to-
consistency. That's why his immunity needs to be strong, so that he can take small steps every day till he can run.
Our next star performer is the ballerino dancer.
I give him Born Vita every day, which contains iron, zinc, and vitamin C that supports his immunity and gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
1xbet oh 1xbet everybody don sabi say 1xbet na the ogbonge place to cash out now because na dem get the highest odds sharp deposits ability to sell slips bet insurance and more. Wetin a totori body pass be say you fit make money from things like virtual games, basketball, horse racing and many more. Just log on to 1xbet.ng to register and make you no forget to use the promo code RadioWin to get 200% bonus on top your first deposit oh 1xbet. Bets for every taste.
A major part of being a parent is being present. Stay in the picture and be the parent you want to be with AXA Life Insurance Living Benefits.
Oh yes, please.
Free health check, loyalty bonus, cashback and permanent disability covers. Call 0700 AXA Mansard today to speak to an AXA financial advisor. Yay!
Aya.
My big meter has entered
Back
red.
in 40 seconds.
My money has finished though.
Babe, calm down now. Why are you switching off everything now?
With the rising cost of food and every other thing, it is only wise to manage my electricity consumption. And you know what freezers consume.
You better switch to
Yeah,
the smart
Zoom.
way with Aya Thermocool Inverter Freezers. The 50% electricity saver.
Really? 50%?
Yes, so 50%. So you don't have to switch off your appliances, especially your freezer.
Switch off from a life of stress.
You must
Switch
switch
to
off
higher
the AC,
thermocool
Jack.
inverter
If
freezer
not,
and enjoy 50%
You'll
electricity
be sleeping in the
saving.
middle of the
That
night.
means low electricity
Light is
bills.
off in your house. Your
Thermocool,
neighbors will have
always
light.
there for you.
Better switch off.
Smooth 98.1, love music, love life.
You're listening to The Locker Room. That's a part of Smooth Breakfast with Ayomayo Essay.
And Valentine Ohu. Also
right.
with us is.
Tega on Jaife, Tega Supreme, aka.
All right, Tega, let's go on to the next story. Well, if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can head on to our YouTube channel. YouTube is youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos, or you could send us a WhatsApp message.
WhatsApp 0809-444-0981.
Christian Chooks caught you out on this one, Tega. All right, so an Olympics to remember. Zambia women's football team had an Olympic debut they will never forget for good and bad reasons as they faced European champions in Netherlands. Despite conceding 10 goals against the 2019 World Cup runners-up, the world's 104th ranked side had plenty of reasons to be cheerful. Captain Barbara Banda made history for the Copper Queens, scoring her country's first ever women's goal at an Olympics. The 21-year-old striker went on to score a hat-trick, becoming the first female African player to score 3 goals at a game.
Yes, so that was a good spin on it. Fantastic player, Baba Branda. She was actually our speaker at LIS 2020.
Hey!
Amazing athlete. Unfortunately for the Zambians, I would say this: they haven't had experience at this level, but they played such a fantastic qualifier in the women qualifiers. I mean, think about it: Super Falcons are not here. Zambia is. Yes, they kicked us out.
How the mighty have fallen.
And so there's a kind of experience that you come in to play with. I was going to talk about how South Africa stood up against Japan, but I will get to that story eventually.
Right.
But Zambia, obviously, tactically inferior to a side like the Netherlands, a Dutch team, because of the experience that the Dutch team has at this level. In women's football, it's not age grade, it's your national team. So think about them, they are European champions. So if you saw how great they did at the World Cup, I think they got to the semi-finals or the finals before they were knocked out. So they're a fantastic side. Zambia, on the other hand, does not have this international experience, so they're really green. And they get to this tournament, and at some point it was 10-1. So those two added goals that came in, it was when the Dutch thought the game was over. Baba Branda quickly put in two goals in 3 minutes.
Wow.
In 3 minutes towards the end of the match to make it 10-3. But I mean, think about it, they were conceding goal after goal. At some point, the Dutch people, they weren't really celebrating like they're scoring at the Olympics. They're just celebrating like, oh, you scored a goal, high five.
Oh, well done.
And kick, roll, and let's go. But it's experience that the Zambian side would learn from and would grow from. But yes, when you come to an international tournament like this, people always think that if we just play our game, then we'll be all right. No, there's an approach to playing on the international stage, especially when you've not faced opponents from many continents like this. You have to approach it differently. So I'm sure they would have learned their lesson, because 10 goals, that's record. That you don't want to have.
The spelling of it.
Gambia. So it was called
Zambia.
Banda.
Zambia. All right, let's talk about Everton. Now, the striker, Richarlison, scored a first half hat trick as Brazil's men began their Olympic campaign with a 4-2 victory over Germany. In a repeat of the 2016 Olympic gold medal match, the defending champions raced into a commanding lead despite Matheus Cunha having a penalty saved. Germany put up more of a fight after the break as goals from Nadir Amir and Ragnar Ache made it 3-2, making it a nervous finish for Brazil. Also, the AC Milan midfielder Frank Kessie scored in Ivory Coast's 2-1 win over Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, so you think again with Saudi Arabia that it will be an easy matchup against Cote d'Ivoire. It wasn't. In fact, this game almost ended in a draw. Saudi Arabia has slowly been building their sports system. They've invested a lot of billions into their sports, and you think it's just their sports. You think it's just their sports tourism. No, even in developing sports from grassroots, they're pumping in a lot of money into sports, and so that's why you're seeing their men on different stages just try to get as much experience as they can, and they gave Cote d'Ivoire a run for their money yesterday with all the Kessier that was playing for them, Eric Bailly that was showing up for them. They still found it hard to put the Saudi Arabians away. And they fought until the last minute. In fact, at some point, they started wasting time so that time will run out and the game will end. That's how the Ivory Coast had to survive against a Saudi Arabian side. But on the other hand, a big matchup. 2016, it took penalty shootouts to separate Brazil from Germany. Brazil eventually winning the penalty shootout. I remember Neymar scoring and crying in 2016. This time it looked very different. Before we could blink, 30 minutes, Richarlison has scored hat-trick. The Germans were all over the place, and I was getting really afraid because they had an experienced defender, Arnold, and I thought that was going to be the level-headed one. But he was most erratic. He was the one always out of position. He was the one always out of place. And at the end of the day, he was the one that got the red card. That even put Germany under more pressure. But I think Germany, after the first half, again, this result was only like this because Matheus Cunha did not score his chances. Him alone, with the clear-cut chances that he had, should have scored 4 goals easily. And I'm not counting the penalty he missed.
Yeah.
I'm just counting the clear-cut opportunities he had. Unfortunately, it was just not his day. But Germany was able to come back into the game in the second half. I think they brought in more runners, more wingers, and they were able to run at the Brazil defense. And you know how Brazil plays. They're not the most solid defensively. Their fullbacks are always going up front. And you know Daniel Alves is more of a striker than a fullback, but they're always going up front, so he leaves room in the back. So if you have good runners that can take the ball, then you get the goal, and that's what Germany did. They brought the game to 3-2. Looked like at some point they're going to get it to 3-3. Then just when they thought they were settling in, Paulinho now scored the 4th goal to kill their hopes. But it's a great turnout for the football that we're seeing here. Spain ended up in a draw against Egypt. Both teams really cancelling themselves out, and Spain had Pedri and Olmo and Oyarzabal playing, and I was just like, these guys just played in the Euros, and now they are playing in the Olympics. And then you what will be left for their club? In fact, they will not be running on empty for their club. There will just be no tank left because they've run. I mean, think about it. They played full season for their countries, for their clubs. Then they went to the Euros, got all the way to the semi-finals, and now they are at the Olympics. Someone like Pedri, he's played 66 games already. I know he's 18 and he has energy to burn, but really 66 games is a lot of games to play. And he played full 19 minutes. Wow. So really, Barcelona, this Laporta, get on the phone and be calling them. Can they calm down a little on your player?
Seriously though, because there's wear and tear.
Yeah,
absolutely, wear and tear. All right, we have our next story here, and it is on Phil Neville being under pressure. Phil Neville says he knows the consequences after his Inter Miami side were thrashed at home by New England Revolution for their 6th straight defeat in the MLS. Miami, who are part owned by my favorite David Beckham, are bottom of the Eastern Conference in Neville's first season as boss. Neville said, "I feel the owner's full support. The concern is me. They don't need to tell me their concerns. Our run puts me under pressure."
I like what say. You know, when I heard when he got into the locker room, he told his players that they should take a look in the mirror, look at their life, and see how their life is, that they were able to, lose 6 straight games. And I'm just thinking, Phil Neville, we've always said this, you're not a good coach. Yes, the fact that the English side, no, seriously, he was the coach of the English side. He didn't really, that team grew as their club football grew, not as much as he developed the team. But because you are the coach, you get the accolades the same way you get the stick. So he left the post, and Beckham, his friend, decided to employ him as coach in Inter Miami. And that's how this guy, 6 straight games. They are at the bottom of the conference.
My dear, I'm just concerned about my dear Beckham.
Just hanging out there. And Beckham, I think, I know you love your friend, but I think it's time to fire him. In fact, it was time to fire him before you hired him. But since you've already made the mistake, fire him now. I'm not a hire and fire person, but this coach needs to go and learn. So it's a really tough task when you're going into the locker room and you're telling your team, look at yourself in the mirror. I was like, if this were Jose Mourinho, Phil Neville will be the first person to say, you don't talk to your players like that. You have to have player management skills. Where are your player management skills now? You've lost 6 games in a row. Exactly. And you're telling them to look in the mirror. How about you look in the mirror and tell yourself some truth? So really, really tricky one. But it goes to show that some of this, I'm telling you, when he leaves, he will get a job in one of these TV stations.
And I thought you said as a coach again.
They will, coaches always get jobs, so he may get another job. But what I'm saying is, when he leaves, he'll get a job as an analyst on TV and still be harassing other coaches.
Yeah. Yeah, he will.
Meanwhile, he has failed twice now. We are marking your script.
It's easy to critique on the other side. Rebecca Onelum says from Amor, he says Gary Neville.
Is it Phil?
Oh, sorry, it's Phil.
Phil Neville. Yeah.
It's Phil Neville. Gary is the brother that coached at Valencia.
Yes.
Phil Neville is the one that coached the women's team and is now feeling at Inter Miami. I'm sorry, I'm the one that even.
Gary is a fantastic pundit, but a terrible manager. I guess because of the TV angle and the possibility of taking a role on TV.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you all so very much. That's all we can take on our stories for today. I'm glad that because of time difference, the Olympics will be at 12 noon our time.
Yeah.
The only thing that might be on the road, I want to watch it.
What else are you glad about?
It's Friday.
Nice.
Nice one. Thank you very much, Tega.
Lazy people.
Tega is on Instagram at LIS International for the great work she does with ladies in sport.
And the one that was banned or not banned, you could find them with their work with LIS. That's Ladies in Sport, that's right. And the website is ladiesinsport.com.
Love life.
So I'm not